Welcome to my views and news. Some news stories from Ethiopia. Firstly, it seems that U.S. government is deliberately delaying finalization of issuance of grants and loans, especially loans to Ethiopian government. IMF and some news sources have shared some details in the last 48 hours, which indicate that the US is not sincerely considering Ethiopian request for financial support. Secondly, viewers, a meeting was held in Alamata, Raya zone, southern Tigray, disputed between Tigray and Amhara regions. A meeting was held yesterday and today on Sunday. A protest is going to be held in Alamata. Thirdly, viewers, an Orthodox teacher has been arrested. He is teacher of New Testament. He used to appear on Mahibre Kadusa TV as well. Firstly, viewers, for months we have been seeing talks between Ethiopian government and Western and other financial institutions. Ethiopian government held talks with the IMF, with the World Bank, and a few weeks ago we heard that Ethiopia was likely to receive $2 billion loan from IMF. Then Amhara visited China too, but no bailout announced so far for Ethiopian government. And while everyone knows that Ethiopian government is in dire need of this financial assistance, a bailout package is needed because the economy is in a difficult position. This week, an IMF representative in a briefing said that Ethiopia should give creditors assurances to the IMF for the release of loans. So, the message for Ethiopia from the IMF was that those countries who have already given loans to Ethiopia, they should give assurances, guarantees to IMF about financial capability of the Ethiopian government. Is the government in a position to return the loans, to pay back the loans? That is why the IMF demanded assurances. US is not the only country from which Ethiopia needs assurances. Ethiopian creditors are different countries: China, European countries, US as well. But it's not that the loan release is being delayed because of lack of guarantees from creditors. Reportedly, US is delaying the issuance or the release of loans for Ethiopia. Several sources are now reporting that 3 US departments are considering Ethiopian request for loans and grants. Treasury department, US State Department, and security organizations, security agencies. All are analyzing Ethiopian request from different angles, from political, security, diplomatic, and financial angles. And the 3 departments could not reach any agreement about whether Ethiopia should be given loans or not. So that is why green light from US for IMF, for World Bank is missing. And IMF, World Bank, they won't release any loans for Ethiopia if US does not show any green light. Why is US delaying the release of loans for Ethiopia? We can discuss that too in some videos, maybe in future videos. But election is due to be held next year in the US, and election campaign starts early. towards the end of this year, you'll see start of election campaign, presidential election. And Democrats are in power. Republicans are contesting Democrats as well. Now Democrats in power, and traditionally Ethiopia had good relations with Republicans than Democrats. And if Democrats lose and Republicans take office, perhaps it would be a good sign for Ethiopia-US relations. Democrats are delaying the release of loans. Why? Because maybe they want to ensure that Ethiopians living in the US, they support Democrats in the coming election. That could be one of the reasons. Whatever the reason is, the issue of release of loans for Ethiopia is being delayed by the US. IMF, World Bank are waiting for green light from the US. The green light is not being shown reportedly. Secondly, viewers, Alamata, Southern Tigray, Raya zone, disputed territory between Tigray and Amhara regions under the control of Amhara administration, where a protest is being held today. There was a meeting yesterday in Alamata between Ethiopian army officers, Alamata city government and local elders. Hailemariam, Alamata mayor was there, General Abraham, an ENDF general of 6th Command was there. Meeting was held and their questions were asked about the status of Raya. And General Abraham assured the participants that no one from Tigray will be settled in Alamata. And secondly, he gave permission for today's protest. Yesterday, permission was granted by Ethiopian army. Ethiopian army is the main force now in southern Tigray. And in coming hours, we could see a protest, a demonstration in Alamata. I'll update in coming videos. The protest is for the release of budget. No budget has been allocated by the Amhara regional government, Ethiopian federal government for Raya and Volkait. Secondly, the protest would be for answering the question of Amhara identity. These people in the Raya zone in Alamata, they say, the protesters, that their identity as Amharas should be respected. They want to be part of Amhara. We saw a similar demonstration in Alamata a few weeks ago. And after that, we saw a strong statement from Tigray External Affairs Bureau, which claimed that outsiders from Kobo, from Volo, brought to protest in Alamata. Once again, a protest in Alamata, and reaction is likely from Tigray. Tigray would speak after this protest, I think. We'll keep you updated, please. Lastly, arrests of activists, journalists continue. Those who criticize the government continuing in the Amhara region in Addis Ababa as well. Teacher of the New Testament has been arrested in Bahirdar. His name is Hailemariam Zewdu. Hailemariam Zewdu used to teach New Testament on Mahibre Kadusan TV. He was arrested in Bahirdar. Reportedly, his whereabouts are unknown. So this campaign of arrests in the Amhara region is continuing. Thousands are in prisons. Fano fighters, supporters of Fano, journalists, and Ethiopian government is now filing serious charges against them. Some are being accused of planning to topple the government, like Gobeze Sese, Meskrama Bira. Government is filing serious charges of terrorism against them. But similar charges were filed against Tigray leaders too. We saw that when the war was ongoing in Tigray. Later, all were pardoned, and Sabatnaga was released. He was allowed to leave the country. He's in the US these days. Debretsion, Varade, Sadkan, all were prosecuted at the courts, and they were charged with treason, with terrorism. But later you saw that all charges were dropped. Let's see what happens in the case of the charges against Amhara people, people from the Amhara region. Thank you for watching.